Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
Happy Labor Day, James.
Hey, happy Labor Day. Thanks very much. Hey, we have a great show tonight. Football season is in full swing. Tailgate number 1 is in the books. Game 1 for Clemson is unfortunately an L. And we can't have a show about college football without paying at least a minor little Fun Fans type tribute to the retirement of a legend. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of Greenville Sports Media's podcasting network. If you're a true sports fan, Greenville Sports Media is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts, the latest articles, and other sports media at greenvillesportsmedia.com. We can also be found on all forms of social media, just like the Fun Fans Podcast. Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
Yeah, and Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering have the best wings around with 2 locations in the upstate of the great state of South Carolina, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. Their website is reubensc.com. Reuben's is simply a great place to eat for everyone, but especially sports fans.
Listen,
and
I'm going
to go ahead and mention this now before I forget.
Yeah.
We need to give a shout out to my partner, James Dillard. Had a birthday this weekend.
I did. Yeah, it's today, actually.
It's actually today.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
I told you yesterday, but I was a day early.
Yeah, because if you're not early, you're late.
I agree.
All right. Speaking of being not early or not late. So yesterday was our first experience in Lot 10. Okay. New year, a lot of changes in the parking assignments on campus at Clemson, and we were fully aware. And Bailey and I, even being local, we kind of scoped it all out. And let's just say that we're not going to do what we did Saturday again.
No.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, Lot 10, FYI, it can be a little bit confusing. See if I got what kind of picture I got. That's okay. I brought this. This is our spot last year. Why is there not a party on the corner? I mean, what kind of a shame is that?
It's a shame, that's for sure.
It's a shame.
It's an underutilization of that parking spot.
I mean, if that's what you're going to do, let's just swap. Give that spot back to the Fun Fans, and let's treat it right. But so. Lot 10 is just a parking lot, and there's some spots that I'm not even grassy areas, median type areas, but we get in there and there are LSU fans. Now, they were nice as the day is long, but they had literally taken over the row, the entire area where we were supposed to park our car, which we knew there was not going to be spaces to park. So tell them what we looked for, Bailey. We found a spot, but then there were more numbers.
Well, we scouted out a place in the mulch over between the sidewalk and the parking lot, which was a great idea. And the first little spot we went to would have been a great spot. But we ended up realizing that was actually a parking place.
Yes.
I don't think they're supposed to pull up on the mulch, but they do. It is not a huge fan of Lot 10. From a tailgate perspective, the tent that we have is wider than our parking space, so I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do there.
Yeah.
But hopefully next week there won't be as many people there, and we can just park in our spot and see what happens.
Well, no, I have another plan, but I don't want to give it away just in case anybody listening is on Lot 10. But like Bailey said, along the curb, there were numbers. And they didn't match the numbers in the spot. We weren't sure if they were IPTAY, like football numbers, but I mean, they had to be. And it's like they expect people to parallel park down the curb, leaving only what would then leave only one lane of traffic for all these people coming in to tailgate all day. And it's just, they're squeezing some folks in the Lot 10, and it's kind of, it's definitely not the best scenario. But we set up a tent.
And it's definitely a longer walk.
It's a little longer walk. So we ended up setting up a tent. This year we upgraded the tailgate thanks to Elon Musk and the purchase of a Starlink system, and we have high-speed internet at the tailgate, which from what I'm hearing, that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
And we're going to tweak our power supply situation a little bit as well. But here we are just chilling and watching. Well, it was Ohio State, Texas. And you can almost see what the problem was with the tailgate. This is a much better shot of what the problem was.
It was right behind the porta johns, which was okay if the wind was blowing in one direction, but not okay if it blew in another direction.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, if anybody that happens to still be listening to this show from our first year, we had a Porta John story of the week. And I thought it was a very good segment until I think our teenage kids told us we needed to cancel that bit. So it's kind of.
Well, I don't care what they think. We should bring it back. We're bringing it back.
We should bring it back after this past Saturday. So, like Bailey said, when we set up, as if it wasn't for the later hours and the time during the packing up portion, we got there at noon. The first 3 or 4 hours tailgating right by the Porta Johns was not a problem.
Well, yeah, as the day progressed, it got worse.
It was a growing issue.
Yes, it was.
If you know what I mean.
Not a look. We made the best of what we went to do. Wasn't a great setup, but you know what? We can always look to improve.
That is correct. So we are looking to improve this coming Saturday. And I can promise you when you tune in next Sunday, we'll have pictures of a much better tailgate. All right. So, and once again, if Centennial Extension folks, come on, let's step it up a little bit. All right. But then this was a huge game. So there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of pomp and circumstance. Let me see if we're going. This is
Well, it was just odd with the traffic and like how there's normally like a rush like 3 hours before kickoff or 2 hours before kickoff. We never had that like rush of traffic. It was like people were it was so spread out. Yep. It was pretty crowded when we got there, and we thought we were really early.
Yep. I think people showed up for lunchtime. Ooh. And we got there right at about the lunchtime time. And then, like you say, it was nothing but trickle traffic.
Yeah.
For the rest of the day. I mean, somebody was even able to do the gritty in the right lane of Perimeter Road at some point during the tailgate, I believe. That person shall remain nameless. But as you can see from this picture, the stadium was packed. Look, and it's hard the hill is way, obviously, in the distance here. The hill's packed. So a lot of us older traditional fans we're excited to see the hill packed, and hopefully that means a bunch of students, got a ticket and were able to get into the game. And I don't have a picture of this, but the best thing about Saturday, one of the best things, the new handrails. We talked about this.
Yeah, they were there's but the one near our seat is like in the wrong place. Like you have to either go down past and come back, or you have to cut across. But they were useful.
They were 100% useful for somebody with that's had as many back surgeries as I have. It definitely made for a much better experience. The crowd was lit. The hill was full. Another spectacle, which I predicted, and a lot of folks did. My brother and I went to the playoff game in Texas, and they had a drone show. So of course, Clemson stepped it up and had a drone show of their own. And this was, between third and fourth quarter, right? Is when they did this. And they did. So they sped out Death Valley, as you can see in this picture here. They formed the drones in the shape of Howard's Rock. They did a helmet. So they did a couple of things. And, people were oohing and awing, and it was pretty cool. And then they had drones hold up the 4 fingers for fourth quarter. And did the video and all that jazz. So that was pretty cool. And, but this game went on for a long time. It was a long game. This is my daughter.
That little guy in the red shirt. I know it's not personal, Man, when you don't kick off to almost 8 o'clock for the old people, could we just go ahead and get rid of some TV timeouts?
Let's fast forward through it live or something. It was it started getting late. So this is my daughter, her boyfriend, and you can't read the captions, but it says it's past my bedtime, but go Tigers, where they're screaming there. So that was pretty cool. And that's about the way you had to be. And that's kind of the way the game was. Started lulling us to sleep for a little bit, and then actually came close to scoring a game time touchdown. But you know what would have come in handy about the fourth quarter of that game?
Definitely some W.
Definitely some W. Go to w.gg, enter promo code FUNFANS for 10% off your Jitterless energy drink. All right, so speaking of the game itself, we're going to give our analysis, and wish my phone would quit vibrating here.
You're very
But popular. I just can't help but think of Flavor Flav. Don't believe the hype. Nervous as a fan with all the build, and it's 100% true. We got all these returners. Cage good. Everybody's good. Dabo coaching staff's great. We should be really, really good. So, but all that preseason stuff, it makes you nervous as a fan. And I'm not going to sit here and say, though, that the team didn't live up to the whole team didn't necessarily live up to all the hype, obviously. But I'm going to turn it over to Bailey to tell people to just calm down about all the.
Yeah. What have we lost? Nothing. We've lost nothing. We've lost absolutely nothing. We don't know, but here's what I think. I think LSU's gone out and bought them a really good team.
They did.
And they could be one of the better defensive teams in the country. Now, Ohio State is really good on defense. But I'm just telling you, Clemson held LSU to 17 points. They should win that game. And it has something to do with LSU's defense. Yes. And it didn't help. Antonio Williams got hurt. That didn't help. But so everybody's going to panic. But what if LSU's like one of the best teams in the country? Which they are.
Well, they are. If their preseason number.
That means Clemson is one of the best teams in the country.
It was two top 10 teams, and it was a one-score result.
Just like Miami and Notre Dame. Those are two of the best teams in the country right now. Ohio State, Texas. Even though Texas didn't look great and they lost, they're still one of the best teams in the country.
Right.
Like, that's the benefit of playing these games. One, you don't really lose anything, or you could go play, we could have played Charleston Southern.
Right.
But then you don't really know what you have. It would help if you had these games and you had a scrimmage.
Yes.
And
Dabo says the same thing.
Yeah. And, it's a lot of pressure on a first game of the year. And unfortunately, that's the third year in a row Clemson hasn't played well in the first game of the year.
Right. So like you said, they played okay. And honestly, kind of shows how good you are if all you did was play okay and you still matched up that well. LSU has a potential Heisman candidate quarterback, and like you said, they bought a great team, but we got on here and both of us were a little bit worried about the secondary, and I'm not anymore. I think our secondary played. Those guys
played great.
They did well. People are worried about the running back position. Other than, honestly, I'm really not. I thought the running backs did fine.
Yeah, not being able to run the ball didn't have anything to do with the running back.
And we only tried to run it twice. So I don't, not going to get into the
right.
Everybody questions the play calling because every play is designed to score a touchdown.
Right. So, I'm trying to hit a hole in one every time I play a par three.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of getting it done. But like Bailey said, when you lose your top receiver, Cade was like, I don't know. I don't know. He's got a great arm.
He threw some balls that were dropped.
That too. It's just
I'm not worried. I'm promise you I'm not worried.
This is and we'll get into this when we get into the other games. I feel way better about this coming year, the rest of this season, than I did after last year's loss to Georgia.
Right.
So the only issue is, Bailey mentioned some of these other games. We'll get to Florida State over Bama in a minute, but You got Miami looked really good against Notre Dame.
But they
Florida
did last
State,
year too.
yeah. Florida State looked good over Bama, and the Gamecocks look pretty good. So, Clemson can't, that needs to be it. If we got to step up, match up in these big games for the rest of the season.
Yeah, let's talk about the Gamecocks real quick.
All
right. So I think the feeling in Columbia should be relief, not elation. It was a slugfest
until the punt return,
until the end. And Shane Beamer said we got to win the fourth quarter. Guess what they did? They won the fourth quarter. Yep. They're better than Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was picked 9th in the ACC preseason. They have 30 transfers. They are not LSU. They are not Ohio State versus Texas. That's not that kind of game. It's a game that it's the Beamer Bowl.
Right.
That's the storyline. Virginia Tech coming in was not expected to be very good. Picked 9th in ACC, even though the ACC is much better.
They won. What they win by 11 or 12, and did they cover the spread?
13, maybe. Yeah, the spread was 8, so they covered the spread, but they hit a deep ball.
Okay, I thought it jumped to double digits like the day before.
Well, maybe I didn't keep up with it, but my point is they're pretty good, and they have sellers, and they're good. It's relief. It's got to be, because nobody said anything to me today, and I saw plenty of Gamecock fans. And it's just like, oh, okay, good, we won.
Well, and anybody that knows, you don't put too much weight in the first game because you never can tell how good the other team is. Virginia Tech actually looked really good. If they finish 9th in the ACC, after they don't look like they'll be the 9th best team in ACC after that game, but who knows?
But then it's all relative to the team you're playing. How do you know?
Correct.
How do you know? Like,
that's why,
is that team any good or is that team any good?
4, 5, 6 games into the seasons before you really find out how good a team is. Miami, Notre Dame. Okay, you said those are 2 of the best teams in the country. They definitely look like it. However, they could be very closely matched up to one another, and both 10th, of them outside 12th, of the top 6 or 8.
Right.
So, I mean, they're good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams.
And that was a good game. You watched the game, I'm assuming?
I watched most of it. I was taking a nap here and there, and then I just got tired of trying to fight it, and I went to sleep.
That was a really good game. There were some receivers made some really good plays. I mean, that was a good game. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, Clemson fan, love Clemson. Our game was. I mean, I was tired. Obviously, it was late, and we'd been tailgating since 12 o'clock, but there wasn't a ton of excitement in that game either. But that Miami Notre Dame game, it was a good game.
Yeah, I think the defense has had a lot to do do with that.
Yeah.
Look at the Texas Ohio State game.
All right. So speaking of Texas Ohio State, so everybody is. I mean, you can't help. Speaking of the hype, I mean, the quarterback. What in the world? They built him up like the second coming, and yes, he's a Manning and all whatever, but he just is out of jitters. Was that first game? If he turns the corner, Texas will be right back to being potentially the best team in the country, or what?
Yeah, I mean, again, you got Ohio State, who Patricia is the defense coordinator, I'm pretty sure, who brought in he's a Bill Belichick guy, former head coach of the Lions, defense coordinator for the Patriots, et cetera, et cetera. So, and they have no film. They have no film of these guys. So, from coaching, how important the game film is from week to week.
Yeah.
Like, by the time, even when I was coaching 1A, by the time we get to week 7 or 8, we'd watch all their games.
Right.
We know every tendency they had. Now, you got a brand new defense coordinator coming in. You don't have a clue what he does on 3rd and long.
Right.
I mean, you got to go back and pull old Patriots tape. So it's a crapshoot.
Well, they look good. Ohio State looked good, and Texas they look good in all facets. If they get old Manning, and he's got all the tools. Obviously, he's got all the tools. If he gets right, it could be a rematch for the national championship between those two. Maybe Clemson will get in there and mess some people up. We'll see what happens. But the big upset is Florida State Bama. Once again, that's another thing that's got Clemson fans nervous. We can't be worried about good competition coming throughout the season, guys. I mean, come on. We're going to step up and play. I don't know what it is about these early games, but when Florida State comes to Death Valley in, I think, like late October, early November, we'll be ready. It'll be fine. And just because they beat Bama Saturday, just like what we're saying about it, Bama, they could be on a slide. Or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, well, there's some footage out there. Some guys not playing real hard on X. Florida State has 51 transfers. 51.
So they're going to be the poster child of the portal. They really hit it that year and went undefeated. And then it kicked them in the butt the next year and went 2 and whatever. And then they're back. Are they going to be that's what happens when you base everything on the portal team, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm sorry. People get mad at me and they can argue me if they want to. I like the way Clemson does it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of the way they do it. They're still a national contender the way they do it without just selling out. You know, they don't recruit guys that are going to leave. And if they do, we didn't need them anyway.
Yeah, if the trend continues for Florida State, this will be their year to go undefeated.
Yeah, next year they'll be awful.
And then next year they'll be awful again. So we'll see. They got a quarterback that likes to win. I love the way he plays, Castellano. If I'm pronouncing
I thought he was
that.
really good at Boston College.
He was really good at Boston College. I mean, So they got some weapons over there at Florida State.
Pieces.
And that's, I mean, it don't help us any to beat Florida State with 2 wins. Or, I'm the only Clemson fan that wants South Carolina. I would love for the both of us that needs to be a top 10 matchup. We're not going to be undefeated anymore, but can you imagine if we're 10-1 and they're both 10-1 or something like that when we play that game in Columbia? That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's great for the state.
Yep.
I mean, but people, are you tired of people talking about how bad the ACC is? Well, then guess what? These teams are getting better.
Yeah.
There are plenty of good teams in the ACC, really good teams.
So Florida State, Miami, those were big wins for the conference. Virginia Tech looked good, like we said, and they were picked to finish 9th. Yeah, so we'll see. Speaking of the ACC.
Louisville, Georgia Tech, pick one of them.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. I mean, you better not sleep on Georgia Tech, whoever, if they're on your schedule for sure. Louisville's, and we have Louisville on Friday night. We're not suspicious, but we don't like Friday night games, do we, Bailey?
No, I've never had a Clemson game that was Syracuse used to play on Friday all the time.
All the time.
They lost once and then they barely won another time up there.
Yeah.
But see, Louisville plays on Friday this week.
Yeah. Must have.
That shows you how important high school football is in Kentucky.
But speaking of not high school football, Belichick's debut is tonight, 8 p.m. versus TCU. Chapel Bill. So there's still college football to go this weekend. It's not quite over. And that'll be interesting to see. Once again, you're talking about nobody having film. What's it going to look like? How good are they going to be? You got Bill Belichick at the helm. And plenty of money and boosters to bring some players in. In North Carolina, people our age remember when North Carolina, they like winning. There was a time when North Carolina was, their alumni that are our age, they want to see North Carolina win. They've got boosters that want to get back to a little closer to the glory days. So
you can go on YouTube and watch the 1981 or 1980 Clemson North Carolina game that Clemson won 10-8 on their way to a national championship. It is a huge defensive battle. And 10-8, that's the ball game.
Yeah, they had some dudes for sure.
Yeah.
So an upcoming right, exactly. This Saturday our game's at 3:30. That'll be great for tailgating. Everybody loves a 3:30 game. We can get there, mid-morning or so and decide whether we're going to stay afterwards to hang out with our kids or not. And that should be a great. And the weather's supposed to be about the same as it was. Let me not forget about the weather. So Fun Fans had a lake house. There's a picture. And the whole weekend was just, obviously it was warm, especially in the sun, but the weather was awesome this weekend. It was great. Great fall stuff. All right. So very good. We look forward to 6 more tailgates at home. And if we get to go to some other games, then we'll go to some other games. All right.
Are we making some adjustments to our tailgate?
We are making some tailgate adjustments. You've heard of halftime adjustments.
Yeah.
We're making some tailgate adjustments. First of all, we're not going to tailgate at the porta potties.
No, nope, not again. Never.
Yeah. Basically, we're just going to find a different spot in lot 10.
I'll sit in the car. We're going to go over next to that gate that says hard hats only, and we're going to wear our hard hats.
Yeah. We're going to do something different, and we'll you got to tune in next Sunday to find out what it was. So that'll be awesome.
And I need to say a quick RIP to that cornhole board.
Bless.
It got destroyed by that car in the parking lot.
I thought a car had hit another car. I just knew there was an accident.
Somebody made them brand new cornhole boards for the first game of the year, and one of them
just
did not make it home.
Yeah, got crunched.
Now, I'll give the guys credit. They went half field. It's like when one side of the lights go out.
You don't
play
need
on one half of the field.
You just need one goal.
They just walk back and forth.
That's it. Just toss your bags.
We're not done. They said we're not done.
Yeah. So, all right. Speaking of being done, this past weekend, College Game Day, Lee Corso. I don't have if you've seen the TV show, the things they made in honor of Lee, and then the show this, if you're a fan, you've seen all that stuff, and it really is. I got a thing in my mind. I just want to point out. I believe everything the younger guys, Kurt and those other guys are saying about Corso being, the father figure, et cetera, because think about it, Bailey, that's just a bunch of sports fans that happen to be, and former athletes and coaches. They probably talk about sports all the time, on the air, off the air. I mean, imagine, me and you and 2 or 3 other guys that were getting paid to all we talk about and study, is college football, and it would be crazy. And Corso has the background, has the experience, as a player and the coach and everything, and obviously being the oldest of all the guys. And I can definitely see where he was a mentor to those guys, and I think every heartfelt moment that they talked about was legit.
Yeah, and I did read an article that he got out of coaching in like the mid 80s and went to this small little network called ESPN, and went to work on a college football show that had 12 employees at ESPN.
Wow.
At the time. And he became part of the reason that football is now like this huge entertainment. There's an entertainment factor, and he's one of the reasons. And he first put, the pick of the week, the head was the Brutus head from Ohio State years ago.
Yep.
And I read an article today that said it was very difficult for him to actually get that mascot head, but they finally let him do it, and he ever since been doing it.
Oh, and there's no trouble getting the mascot heads from that point on either.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely added the entertainment piece, and but we have a picture that you will only see on the Fun Fans podcast.
This is behind or right beside the stage.
So there's Coach Corso, Herb Street and Herb Street's dog. Looks like they have some mascots on the stage. So yeah, this is like a off to the side shot. So we can't give away our source, but the Fun Fans, we're always going to bring you a little bit different perspective.
Yeah, we're kind of like everywhere. We're like all over.
That's right. We got it going on. So I just got one quick question. We're about to run out of time. They're not going to replace Corso, right? It's just going to be the show without him, or we got to tune in Saturday and find out.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can fill that seat.
I don't remember anybody talking about that, but that's kind of the thing. You're not going to try to replace Corso. Right. You're just going to have to try to do it without him. So
I mean, they have the charismatic Nick Saban.
Yes, they do. All right, and one more thing about entertainment. I said last week I was looking forward to some new Dr. Pepper Fansville commercials. We need them as a sponsor. I'm just going to quit talking about them. But they had the commercial about the investigation over planting the flag in the center of the field. You see that
Puncture
one?
holes.
That was
platypus
good.
did it.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Considering, obviously, if you're a football fan, you know why they picked that one. But all right, so that was enjoyable. So remember, we are going to be doing a live show every Sunday now. I hope you enjoyed the show. There's a lot of football to go, a lot of fun to be had, and a lot of tailgating to be done. Don't count any team out right now. No team should be counted out right now, especially Clemson. We'll be back next Sunday. Thanks again for checking us out. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on social media. And please share and please subscribe. And have some Fun Fans Podcast, Entertainment, Media, and Bailey Jackson.
Yep, and Labor Day was started back in the late 1800s to honor the hardworking Americans. So keep doing it, America.
Go get them, and go Tigers.